Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Bande Guru Param Om. Namaste. We begin today page 128 at the very bottom, verse 37. Is that correct, Lynn? So we are concluding the chapter 2, as we know, which is all about the nature of meteor. So the chapter 3 is going to go into the nature of satya. So meteor is superimposed on satya. We need to understand to a certain extent this meteor superimposition only to come to a point of understanding that it's not really real. As it says, it's just a projection. And then in the next chapter, we're going to look into the nature of Satya, which is, in my opinion, the most profound and juicy chapter among the 4 chapters of the Mandukya. Verse 37, a sannyas is without praise, without salutation, without rituals, and with the body and the Atma as his or her abode. The sannyasi is spontaneous, so he talks in such a way that one feels like, oh, I want to be a sannyasi. Oh man, you are really praising a sannyasi. So he's trying to say that a sannyasi must be a very mature individual. Therefore, if you are not, it's better you avoid it. I forgot my tea. Just let me pause it. Help me to remember to record it. Okay, sannyas. So what he seems to be saying here is that the sannyasi must be someone very mature, because he cannot depend on anything. He cannot depend not even on all those religious activities suggests in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. He's deprived of rituals, salutations, and he does not need to be praised or praise anything or any entity, And he sees his own body as the Atma, and he sees the Atma, the self, as his own nature, his own abode. Therefore, he is spontaneous. So that is the main point here. And Swamiji elaborates a bit more. He says, like, it could be seen also as an invitation for anybody who has a favorable karma, but yet it feels like, oh my God, just to have a house, having to take care of the house, it consumes so much of my time and energy. And then Lin says, okay, goodbye, you guys. I go to the ashram. I become a sannyas. Yeah. So if you have a karma that allows it, and if you're not hooked or attached to your parabada, to your karma, you may have an option. So children are already grown up, or children never came. So I want to have more time for my Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. So I'm going to intensify this process, and I become a sannyas. He says, like, this is an advice that the scriptures will give only here and there sometimes, If the householder is a mature individual and he feels like he's done with the world and life is consuming energy, vital energy that he sees as necessary for concluding his Nididhyasana, now, he or she must consider the option available to walk away in a graceful and elegant way and take the vow of a sannyas. A lifetime in which a person has no responsibilities and no rights. So you don't want responsibilities, and then there are no rights. The other thing is, in today's world, people want to have their rights, but they don't want responsibilities that come with the rights. You understand? So a sannyasi will accept whatsoever comes and have all the time available to do entirely time devote to his or her nididhyasana. This is vidvat sannyasa. The example is given of Yana Kalpa wishing to enter into the lifestyle of sannyasi in the Bradaranyaka Upanishad. However, Krishna Guru says in the Gita, here and there, that the householder, he can manage his lives, find the right balance. It's a little bit of a juggle, but he can do the Nididhyasana if one has a strong desire for that. So what holds the householder as a householder to the very end of one's life? So it may be one's karma that really it does not allow him to walk away from his life situation. But in some circumstances, what keeps him is old habits sometimes, It's just old habits, And furthermore, a habit is not so bad if you find the proper balance, First of all, the habit should never hurt anybody, not even yourself. And having your vasanas is still directing you into the world, you must find the balance to do your nididhyasana in spite of this tendency to still remain engaged in the world of activities, interactions. No? So you need to have that clarity, that willpower, that viveka, that degree of dispassion, I am in the world, but the world does not stick to me. So this clarity of intention, of value, should be very, very on and firm in the mind of the householder in the pursuit of moksha. But if one decides to do so, one may become a vidvat sannyasi. This person needs only assimilation, because the verse refers to someone already very mature. He knows the teaching, now he wants more nididhyasana. And the advantage of a sannyas lifestyle is that you are free from activities, you're free from duties, from roles that you were playing before in society. Even religious duties, all those religious duties, they are not even allowed in the ashram for a sannyasi. Did you know that it's not even allowed? So, and one does not even need to work to make that living, that 1 or 2 meals a day. He lives on bhiksha. And if somebody does not bring food that day, he takes the opportunity to do a fast, and that's good for the body. And he has a lot of time available for nididhyasana. That's the bottom line. He treats his body as his abode. When he eats, and the very self as his other abode when he does his or her nididhyasana. So the point here is that the sannyas does not need to neglect the physical body because it's a temple of God, as many people say in the New Age world, no? Circles. He treats the body with respect, with gratitude, you know. He takes care of that. It's his own rent. And then it serves the purpose to allow him to grow and gain this firm self-knowledge. And then when he does nididhyasana, he turns to his own self. He forgets the body, but he does not forget the body when the body needs what it needs to stay alive. He accepts everything that happens to the apparent body as one's apparent parabada karma, which is there to exhaust whatever karma is still account to that body. Whether you're a sannyas or household, find time for nididhyasana. So if you're a sannyas, even as a sannyas, Swamiji often puts that people become a sannyas without having the maturity that is being presented here. And then he should have time for nididhyasana, but he's going to get busy in the ashram, playing politics or beginning all kinds of activities or trying to raise funds to. And then the Swami, who is the head of the ashram, says, okay, we need some of those guys as well. They are going to work to bring donations. How about you, Mark? It sounds good for you, sannyas lifestyle?
This reminds me, back in 2010, I spent a few months living in an ashram in Maharashtra. And I remember going and seeing the guru. And I said, can you give me some activity? I want to be of assistance in the ashram. And he said, no. He said, your job is just to meditate, nothing more. You just go and you attend the meditations, nothing else. So, yeah.
Good. Yeah. I hear people saying that it's not easy to stay for 3 months in one of these programs in the Dayananda ashram. People find it boring. So verse 38, seeing the reality within the body is seeing reality outside the body. He becomes one with the reality, revealing in that reality. He does not deviate from that reality. So that the ultimate goal, he sees through the body, you know. He sees the body as a superimposition, a projection. He sees through the body, and then he sees the true nature of the body as the self. So seeing reality, we see it through the body, and seeing reality all over the place outside, he becomes one with reality. So if you see reality within your own body and within the body of the universe, you understood what Advaita is. Reality is that which pervades all universe, no? One without a second. Therefore, I have no other option but identify myself as this very reality. So revealing, what is the meaning of this word revealing without the A?
It means enjoying, being.
Enjoying in that reality, he does not deviate from that reality. So that's very nice. So if you get to know reality, you're going to understand that I get to know something which is my true nature. And it's the only source of peace and ananda and satisfaction and enjoyment. So when you love something, when you enjoy something, when you find something which is the true source of happiness and security, so you don't deviate from that reality, right? Because it's all a question of having this clarity in regards to value of any and everything within the scope of human experience. We have the possibility to experience our true nature by knowledge, by self-knowledge. But we get there only if we develop a huge, huge, huge value. And we do develop this value if we begin tasting that source of Ananda, and then our value is going to grow and our mumukshutva will explode. Because we understood that is absolutely worth it. In fact, the only thing worth a human birth. Nididhyasana is nothing but being aware of the self, which does not change, which does not do anything, does not originate, does not instigate, does not change. And through the changing anatma namarupa, in and through the body mind, which is a namarupa superimposition. Many words to point to this phenomenon called the body mind complex. Upadi. So that changeless Atma is all over the place. We see my own body, we see my mind. In fact, it's not within, it's not outside. Everything appears to be within this Atma, which is my very nature. Therefore, we can say without any problem that everything appears within myself. Enjoying this reality, this appearing reality, like you enjoy the movie, but never miss the screen. Never miss the screen. And the movie is a movie. I'm going to share with you guys a small experience of mine, because it is something indeed interesting. I have been a soccer fan for my entire life. I was crazy for soccer, European soccer especially. And I have a team, my club, which is Inter Milan. And I was a supporter, and I was, for most of my recent life, emotionally involved with certain games. And I used to be invested into the desire that my team wins, and that would create some anxiety and things like that. And then, not too long ago, maybe 6 months or a year ago, I realized, I said, why I allow myself to be involved with this game? These guys, they make millions a year, tons of money, and they should be involved. And then I say, so this is stupid. I'm never going to allow myself to be involved anymore with this game. And for my surprise, I stopped being involved. And yesterday I watched a game of my team, and I was waiting. Oh, nice! There is a game of Inter Milan today, and then it was a very difficult game, and the victory was hard, and the team suffered up to the very end. It was an intense game. One of those games that if you are there as a support, you go up and down, You go to heaven and to hell again. And I was watching all of that without any emotional involvement. So things seems to be less fun now. Because my team win, I don't get excited. I don't jump when he scores a goal, And then when he loses, I don't suffer. I watch it, and it appears to be less fun, less excitement, but nothing is superior than shanti, peace, of watching the movie, knowing that it's just a play. It's just a play. Excitement is far overrated in this world of ours. And shanti, peace, is underrated, big time. When a person screams that it's just a play, and then the play seems to be real and becomes overwhelming, an entertainment was meant to be just an entertainment, but then it goes beyond and does not give just entertainment, but it gives a lot of other feelings and emotions, such as expectation, frustration, and depression, sadness. Similarly, the changeless Atma is available inside as the consciousness principle in and through every changing thought. This is one of those very, very good statements. This changeless consciousness is there, permeating, illumining, and revealing every thought that comes from my causal body into my subtle body, into my conscious mind. Consciousness is lending apparent existence to this phenomenon called thoughts, which is inert by nature. So I have to be aware of this Atma, this consciousness permeating the body, the physical body, and the subtle body, my thoughts, my emotions, my notions. Consciousness is the real thing. So the non-identification with all the changing phenomena is what produces shanti or peace. That which is changeless, that which is actionless, that is available as sat, existence, my true reality, my true real nature. Such is refers often to the external changeless entity or universe, the environment. Chit is represent the internal changeless entity, which appears as the ego or the human intellect, as the reflected chit. We have original chit and reflected chit. Sateva chit, chiteva sat. One should never forget this. This alone is called Tattvan, reality. Okay. Reality is consciousness, and the world outside is the sat aspect of my true nature as reality. Gaudapada says that one should see the inner truth as the changeless consciousness within and see the same inner truth externally in the form of existence, the inness of all materialized, manifest universe. The changeless tattva is myself, Sat-Chit, consciousness and existence. Claiming the tattva as oneself, a person should not do so by trying to objectify it. Learning to relax in this knowledge, this is so nice. How are you going to grasp this knowledge? Leaving aside the human tendency of objectification in regards to anything that it wants, that he or she wants to know. This desire to know the self ultimately face the most subtle obstacle. It's called objectification or projection. It keeps looking for the self as something other than oneself. So when we come to that point, we need to learn to relax, relax, relax. Don't fall for this trick of Maya, to this subtle ignorance which projects the self on certain sublime or spiritual experience. Relax, relax, relax until it becomes clear that the self is myself, my true nature, which is that beyond the mind and the intellect. Relaxing this knowledge, and if necessary, reduce your interaction with life if it causes too much stress. You understand? So one of the things we need to do is to reorganize our lives in the sense that we need to leave aside all the unnecessary stress, unnecessary struggles. You know, the mind develops tendencies, vasanas, dispositions to again and again run into stressful situations, hyperactivities. So you need to be very careful. And you do that by what? When you see that the mind wants to go into hyperactivity, pull the mind back and direct it to one's higher nature, which is not something other than myself. Krishna refers often to this in the Gita. He says, "O Arjuna, sense organs, they run to their respective objects, and they will experience all pair of opposites, such as cold and heat, most fundamentally pleasure and pain. Everything experience is subject to change, arrival, and departure. Everything that the mind through the sense organs objectify and experience is mithya. It's impermanent. It's subject to time. It's just an appearance. Make sure you do not sleep from the teaching, because if you sleep, samsara will swallow you. No? Do not allow that to happen. With this verse, the second chapter is over. The last few advice that Gaudapada offers us in regarding to mithyatva, the nature of the mithya, and the power it has to deceive us and to swallow us, to devour us, our life energy, by keeping us seduced, hypnotized by its power. Do not allow that to happen. Okay, we have a summary here, and as we did with the first chapter, it's just a few pages. I leave it to you guys as homework, and then anything, but I mean this, a little homework, and then anything you feel that you want further clarification, bring to the next class, please. Okay? That brings us to the third chapter. The third chapter of the Mandukya Karika, which is basically Karika, is titled Advaita Prakaranam. The entire Mandukya Karika is a teaching extract from the Mandukya Upanishad. The most important mantra is the seventh mantra, in which the definition of the real Atma is given. And it's presented, and it is given a certain name, Turiya Atma. It's called Turiya Atma just to differentiate it from the Vishwa Atma, Taijaza Atma, and Pranya Atma, which is Jiva Atma in those three states, experience those three realms. So the Vishwa, Taijaza, and Pranya experience its respective worlds. They are not the real Atmas, okay? They are apparent Atmas. In the definition of Atma, two words are extremely important, which Gaudapada takes up for analysis. So let's remember the verse, what is it? The seventh mantra that happens at the beginning of the first chapter say that Turiya is, this Atma is considered to be Turiya, that which is not outside not inwards. You remember that consciousness appears in that graphic as moving outwardly in the awakening state or moving inwardly, yeah? Shedding light to one's vasanas, producing the inner reality of the dream state. No? It says it's not the outward consciousness, it's not the reflect inward consciousness, it's not consciousness turned to both at the same time, and it's not a mass of consciousness, and it's not the all-knowing consciousness that goes to Ishvara, the apparent Ishvara. It's not completely unconscious, and this Turiya Atma is beyond perception, beyond transaction, beyond comprehension. So we need to understand, beyond grasp means to say you are never going to be able to define it, but you're going to be able to claim it by saying, I am that Turiya, I am that consciousness. How, but what are you? I don't know. I mean, it's beyond definition. All I heard, and I took it as reality because I trust the scriptures, is that I am the only reality. I am of the nature of consciousness, and I have to accept that. And I'm the nature of existence, and I must accept that. And since I am the only reality, I apparently lend reality to these other states, yeah? The awakened state and all these entities. But I, Turiya, yeah, am also of the nature of non-duality, because I'm the only reality. I'm one without anything beyond myself. Everything is taken within me without any doing on my part. Therefore, there is nothing beyond me, nothing before me. So I am limitless consciousness beyond time, space, and so on. So therefore, I can say that I have been thinking and contemplate. I have to accept that if I want to say something about my nature, which is beyond grasp, I must accept those suggestions of the Upanishads, stating that I am Satchitananda. Yeah? I am existence, I am consciousness of limitless infinite nature, because there is nothing else. Everything else is just superimposition on myself. And then it says in the mantra set that I'm also beyond grasp and beyond inference. So I cannot know myself through perception, and since inference requires perception, I cannot be inferred. And then how can you know yourself? I know myself as Satchitananda. How you know that? It's not by perception, it's not by inference. It happens in the intellect, but it's not really just a mantra or a concept. It's reality. No descriptions are going to, be fair to this most subtle of the subtle, one without any inclusion of anything that could be used to define myself, any attributes or characteristics, concept. Beyond descriptions. So beyond grasp, beyond inference, beyond perception, beyond thoughts and concepts, but yet it is traceable through the unbroken self-I am, self-awareness, aham, I am, I exist. So we have, the only thing we have is this advertisement of the Atma Turiya Atma, like Nisargadatta used to put. This aham is the advertisement, okay? We need to trace it back as Ramana, Papaji, Nisargadatta used to put. Trace it back. Now, It's traceable through the unbroken self-awareness. Aham. I know I am, and I know that I am. I exist, and I know that I exist. The I. This I, in reality, is free from the world, free from the body, is always peaceful, it's auspicious, because it is non-dual, it's the only reality. This is the Turiya Atma. This is the Turiya Atma. And this Turiya Atma, it must be known, it's non-dual, and it's to be known. So you are only going to be peacefully satisfied if you know this Turiya Atma. So this is the mantra 7, which gives us the definition of Turiya Atma. This Mitva world, and then he says that Gaudapata takes up for analysis 2 words. Now, one of these 2 words is Prapankopasanam, which is the world of Mitya nature, word Mityatvam. This Mityatvam is a very important world, which is the theme of our 2nd chapter. This was analyzed very, very thoroughly. Instead of using the word, the same word to define this Mityatvam, Gaudapada decides to change the word, like many words point to the same thing. And he used Vaityam. And he says Vaityam is synonymous of Mitya. Mitya means that the awakening world we experience now is only a conditional reality like the dream world. This is very important to be grasped and kept in mind. Mitya is that which enjoys a conditional, borrowed reality. Condition, why? Why condition? Because it depends on certain factors or circumstances or states. So the Jiva Atma needs a certain conditional state to experience those 3 universe of the awaker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper. They appear to be real in their own respective specific states, but they are never absolutely real. They depend on certain conditions. So here, Mityatvan is defined as that which enjoys a conditional reality. It's another angle, okay? We can say Mitya is that which enjoys a borrowed existing reality, borrowed from Brahman. Or Mitya is that which enjoys a reality as a superimposition of Namarupas. No? So here we see from this angle, which is very profound, making this analogy, this comparison with the dream state, that both of them are real for the dreamer and for the awaker, but they disappear when the awaker becomes the dreamer or the sleeper, and so on. Anything which appears now and disappears later on and enjoys a certain status of reality, which is dependable on other factors, being the main factor here, a certain condition, mental condition of the Jivatma, cannot be real. I depend on certain conditions. I depend on the play of the 3 gunas operating in my subtle body. If all these 2 or 3 words of the Vishwa, the Tejasa, and the Pranya Jiva. They are conditional reality. What is the absolute reality? It says I consciousness, the principle I, the witnessing of the 3 states. There is something that is common to the 3 states. So the mind imagines itself to be the ultimate reality. But no, because the mind is changing all the time. How can the mind say, so I am the ultimate reality? And then what is the ultimate reality? So it's my mind. And what is your mind? This is my philosophy. This is the concepts I hold on as reality. And then some time goes by and the mind gets in contact with other philosophies, and then the mind says, no, I have changed. Reality now is this and this and these new concepts that I have integrated into my knowledge, philosophical academic knowledge. So the mind is absolutely not real. It goes through different states, but Turiya Atma is the consciousness principle witnessing the mind through the 3 states and all other possible states, because we see in the awakened state, mind changes through many different states. Sometimes Raja goes wild, sometimes Tamaguna takes over, and sometimes there is a nice balance of the 3 energies, and then one feels this nice bliss and peace. So the mind is changing all the time. It cannot be the real deal here. I, the observing consciousness principle alone, is the reality. I am the projector, the sustainer, and the experiencer of this Mithya awakening world. So this was established in Vaita Tyaprakaranam. Now in the 3rd chapter, Gaudapada takes up another profound word for analysis. In that word occurring we see in the 7th mantra is Advaitam. So now we are looking into Advaitam. In Advaitam, we have the fundamental duality, which is experiencer and experienced, subject and object. But it says that there is a principle pervading all Advaita possible experience, which is Advaita. So there is something beyond the knower and the known, the experiencer and the experienced, which does not change as the experiencer change all the time. This word Advaitam is elaborately analyzed in the 3rd chapter, and so this chapter is called Advaita Prakaranam. It consists of 48 verses. The Upanishad points out that Atma is Advaitam, and that everyone must know one's Advaita nature if one wants to know oneself and live in peace for whatsoever is left. Why does the Upanishad say this? Gaudapada answers that Advaitam is the very cause of problems and disturbance. Advaita is the cause of samsara. This division, I, myself, and the world before me, is the problem. Is the problem. And it cannot be cancelled literally. The world is a projection which the creator, the apparent creator, Maheshwara, projects an apparent creature and a apparent creation. So this duality creature and creation is unavoidable. It's the name of the game here, duality, in Mithya, in this apparent order. But Dvaita is a problem that calls samsara. Why? Because you take creation to be real, creation to be really created by a creator, and so on. Everything is being dismantled now with this Mandukya Karika, of course. But samsara, as long as we believe that there was a creation, it was originated, and it exists, and it's real, and there is a creature, and the creature is meant to interact with the creation, to experience creation, and somehow gain knowledge in respect to the creation. Everybody thinks that the ultimate goal here is to be the ultimate scientist and understand the phenomenal world. Huh? Oh, this is the ultimate. No, the true purpose is not to be the ultimate scientist, to understand the phenomenal world, but to understand the phenomenal world is mithya. It's just an appearance reality. And the true purpose of the human birth is to understand the Advaita nature of the I, of the self, of the universe as consciousness, the witnessing conscious principle, observing this Advaitam, this Dvaitam. What Dvaita? My body-mind complex experience, analyzing, investigating, studying the phenomenal world of objects. So there is something beyond this duality, knower and non, experiencer and experience. So why it's such a problem? Why this world creates samsara? There are two levels of samsara, let's put it that way. Once Jiva Atma takes itself to be the body-mind complex, it finds itself before the world. And then it came already with vasana to experience the world. And then this vasana is going to direct he or she to certain experience and avoiding certain other experience. In the process of interacting with creation, this creature, the Jiva Atma, is going to develop or feed, reinforce, and so on, one's vasanas, one's likes and dislikes, because we come already with the program, I want what I want, and I want to avoid what I do not want. So it creates samsara because we are born out of ignorance, and we believe that the world is there to be experienced. And all objects of experience potentially could give me happiness if they are according to my likes. So why I'm saying that there are two kinds of samsara? There is a samsara which is fundamentally sensory, experiential. We want to have pleasurable experience through the five senses and the mind. And we are caught up because we want to have those pleasurable experience through the five senses and the mind. But there is another level of the samsara, which in this example I did before, the ultimate scientist, he wants to be, to understand the God particle. He wants to know the true nature of reality in the phenomenal world of objects. So this is a huge samsara, but people are caught up in the conceptual objects of knowledge in respect to the phenomenal world. And we should not stop there. There is another level of samsara, which is the mystical spiritual samsara, the sacred samsara, in which the Jiva Atma is done with experiencing the world through its sensory organs, is done with trying to get academic knowledge on different fields of knowledge. And now he becomes a mystic. And now he wants to have this mystical experience of superior locus, these states. So samsara is very pervasive, and it's there to swallow us on different levels, and consume us. And the only way out is to understand that Dvaitam is the very source of suffering. To think that I'm going to find fullness and true satisfaction, peace by gaining something on this world or in the world of academic knowledge or the world of mystical experience and knowledge, esoteric knowledge. So this belief is samsara. All of the three is samsara. The most fundamental, the most gross is the belief that the physical material world is going to give me satisfaction through consumption of mundane experience. So what is the only solution is Advaita Jnana, the understanding, the knowledge, the firm and retained knowledge at all times that the self, which is the source of happiness, is of non-dual nature, is Advaitam. So all the Upanishads have repeatedly said the same thing. Katha Upanishad says, whoever is in Dvaitam will go from birth to birth, mortality to mortality. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it said as well that even if the slightest duality is still entertained and perceived, you will feel insecure. Why insecure? Because I see something that may appear to me as a source of happiness or a source of unhappiness, something that is going to threaten my peace or is going to excite my peace. As something that can be added to my peace. Even a slightest sense of perceived duality will create trouble. It will create the sickness of samsara, helplessness, fear, anger, depression. In Bradaranyaka Upanishad, it's also said that Dvaitam is the cause of insecurity, fear, and so on. This is everyone's problem, and for that problem, Dvaita Jnana is the only remedy. When it's said that Dvaitam is the problem, we should carefully note the following. Experience of duality is not a problem. In fact, it has a potential to be an enjoyment. I'm editing the words of Swamiji here for a certain reason. Because as we know, experiencing duality is not a problem for as long as we take duality to be reality, the objects to be real, and the experience entity to be real as well. Therefore, for the Jiva Atma under a spell of this fundamental cosmic ignorance, enjoyment, the duality is a source of pleasure and pain. So we have to say not only enjoyment. It says, I would say, experience duality is not a problem. In fact, it is an experience of pleasure and pain. So if something is the base on which, if something is going to produce unavoidably pleasure and pain, so we could say, yeah, there are moments I enjoy, sometimes some other moments I suffer. So how so? Why the Swami says that in fact it is enjoyment. Variety is enjoyment. When you go to have dinner in some friend's home and then he comes and he presents today there is only rice. And I say, oh, okay, so nice. So you cook rice. Rice with what? Oh, rice with rice. Yeah. So it feels a little boring. Yeah. But if you go there, there are 15, 20 dishes. Yeah. You say, ooh, this is really beautiful. I will enjoy myself here. So variety appears as potential enjoyment. So the only thing is that the varieties of objects of experience are not only on the side of pleasurable experience, but painful experience as well. But for the Yanni, duality is a source of enjoyment, of course, because he does not take the soccer game to be real, and then he can enjoy without suffer the game. Deviate transaction is also not a problem. Deviate experience and transaction are not problems in reality. Then what is the problem? The problem is taking Dvaitam as Satyam. Takes Dvaitam, this Mithya world in which we see the knower and the known, the experiencer and the experience, to believe that these two principles, the creature and the creation, are real. So the only solution is to understand that I, consciousness, Turiya Atma, I am of non-dual nature, and the world is but just a superimposition, a mirage that occurs within the scope of my Satchitananda nature. Taking Dvaita as Satyam is the problem. So if you take the world, the Mithya world of duality to be real, it's a problem because Dvaita now is being taken as reality, as Satyam. When Mithya Dvaita is mistake to reality, so one takes this Mithya world to be a source by which, a place in which I can find true happiness, stability, security, resolution. So I'm going to be happy in the world. How so? No, I don't buy in this thing about the stock of self. No, I'm going to be happy because I'm a go-getter and I'm going to get only pleasurable experience. It's not possible. For different reasons, we all know that. When Mithya Dvaitam is mistaken as reality, one expects stability that leads to emotional leaning. Okay, this world is really all there is. It's real. I have looked. I know that my dream world is not real, but this world is real, and I'm happy when I get what I want. And when I get something or someone that I'm going to lean on that, believing that that is going to give me some stable and permanent sense of security and happiness. So if we project value in reality in this Mithya object of words, we're gonna establish a relationship of expectation, dependence, and attachment to certain objects. And the objects very soon, they do not provide the happiness that they did appear to provide at the beginning. Dependence, attachment, samsara. How I'm going to rely on something that's changing all the time? Rely on something unstable. Things creates the fundamental human problem. Relying on the unreliable world, Mithya world, is the definition of insanity, of samsara. The reliance happens because of the superimposition of Satya in Mithya. We see the Mithya world and we superimpose reality as if the Mithya world is a true source of happiness that may complete ourselves. Therefore, we should stop emotionally relying upon Mithya Advaitam, emotionally relying, and start relying on my Satya Advaitam nature alone. Advaitam, there is only me, I am consciousness. Everything is just a projection, a mirage that occurs within my Satchitananda nature. That Satya Advaitam is Turiya Atma, is the I, the self, conscious existence. This Advaita self-knowledge is important for everyone. It's more than important. It's the only way to pacify the human experience, the mind of every human jiva. With this introduction, Gaudapadacharya starts the third chapter. Beautiful introduction. I love it. So let's do the next class tomorrow. How about that? Philippe, are you with us? Are you in the Advaita Vedantic realm, or you are looking for Ishwara to help you in the world?
I am doing Nididhyasana.
Beautiful. I see that you are very, very attentive. Nice. Very nice. So we meet again this coming Friday as usual, same time. So, but we don't meet in Mithya. We're going to meet in Satya in next class, okay? Because we are on the third chapter. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. Thank you. Obrigado. Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, everyone. We meet again this coming Friday. Namaste.
Okay, thank you, Arvinder. Bye now.
Thank you.